Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another talk of Foodback related to personal branding on LinkedIn. And we have Alessandro Gini, who is an expert on the topic. And then we have Yazid, who's a participant of the Foodback project. Before we dive into speaking with Alessandro and Yazid, I would just a few practical points, which is in the chat, I posted 4 points. Please write your name and where you're from. I know that some of you are returning, but it's useful also for the speakers to know who is who. And then secondly, I'll just tell you a little bit about Foodback, which is a Erasmus Plus project under the call capacity building in the field of use. And it's aimed at developing skills for young people on entrepreneurial skills and related to the agro-food industry. In the project, we've had study visits in 8 countries, and then we've had training for youth workers and local workshops in countries. 90 young people participated. And then from that, 45 young people participated in a youth seminar, which was held in Italy. And from that, we have received and achieved 25 business plans throughout the project. So now we're wrapping up the project as it's going to end on the 31st of March. But we wanted to conclude with both tips for all the young people who joined the project, but also to a wider public. So now I'll pass the floor to Yazid. You can please go ahead. Maybe introduce yourself briefly, also who you are.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yazid. I actually reside in Amman, Jordan, and I recently graduated from the University of Jordan with a degree of visual arts. And I do content creation and as well as narrative storytelling. And sometimes lately I've been doing some documentary filmmaking. And yes, and that's all in a nutshell, I guess. So today we are diving into how young entrepreneurs can use LinkedIn effectively to build their business, network, and grow professionally. I'm going to introduce you to Alessandro Gini, one of the best leading trainers and consultant in LinkedIn in Italy, and the founder of UP4 Business and the first of LinkedIn certified marketing expert in Italy. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Yassi. Thank you, Joe. And hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here today. I've known Joe since a while, but we met only once actually. But I always look for Cora projects. I know some of them, and I'm very happy that I've been involved somehow in this project with this little talk, but I hope there will be a value for you. I'm from Italy, as Yazid said, and I've dedicated over 11 years now to mastering LinkedIn. My background, it's way far from economics and marketing because I studied art and then I work in the event industry and then I moved to digital marketing and then I fell in love with LinkedIn. So I decided to focus on LinkedIn because I found the perfect platform to really put together what I'm passionate for and also the passion to help for helping other people achieving something in the business field. Nowadays, I train entrepreneurs and professionals, helping them unlock to the LinkedIn potentials. And I work with university. I teach in Italy in a few university, advising for career and also LinkedIn as a digital platform. And I also work with NGOs for corporate fundraising initiatives.
That's so lovely to hear. I'm gonna ask you some questions about there is that like many young people and entrepreneurs underestimate LinkedIn. Why do you think it's such a powerful tool for business and professional growth? And if you can tell me what some key mistakes that entrepreneurs make while using LinkedIn?
Well, probably the first mistake is to do not use it. As you said, many people underestimate the power of LinkedIn, and quite often happen to me that after giving like some brief information, maybe a lesson in university, as I said, or maybe just a short consulting. They come back after a while, after a few weeks, after a few months of experimenting, and the first things they said are, wow, I couldn't imagine to get so much back from LinkedIn when using a proper way. So the mistakes usually are, let's say, three main big mistakes. The first is to do not optimize the profile. LinkedIn profile is not just the resume, it's not just the CV. It's a place where express your core values, showcase what you did. For example, I ask you, and you can answer in the chat or maybe later in the talk time, but did you showcase your project with feedback on your LinkedIn profile? I've seen someone did, but probably majority didn't yet. So the first is about the profile, to do not optimize it. The second is about the network. Many people are either accepting everyone or inviting everyone in their network, or not accepting people, like just being very, very conservative and not accepting people, I don't know, afraid of what, but keeping a very, very small network. So you need to find, of course, quantity over quality over quantity, but you need to enlarge your network because that is the real power of LinkedIn. And the third big mistake is about let's say the community part of LinkedIn. So not really using post to spark conversation or to do not use the DM to follow back a conversation. That's
Yeah.
where the real benefit can comes for a business.
Yeah, that's the thing that they actually do. It's either that they keep it conservative or do it like very publicly.
Yeah.
And maybe what makes a LinkedIn profile stand out? What's the essential elements like for an entrepreneur?
Yeah. Let's start with the mindset. I invite you to think to your profile as a landing page. Okay, so your profile is indexed on Google or other search engine. Even inside LinkedIn, people can find people through a keywords, for example. So you appear in a search page, and first objective is to make people click on you instead on someone else. Okay, like to increase your click-through rate if someone is a bit aware of digital marketing terms. So when people arrive on your LinkedIn profile, there is this digital marketing comparison we can make. So you create some curiosity with maybe a keyword that you put in your headline, or maybe because they knew already your name. So there is an expectation, and your profile need to confirm that expectation and add something more and push people to take an action. Could be connect with you, send a message, or click on a link, or do something else. So if you think to your profile as a landing page, you understand that there is a sequence of elements that are really crucial. First of all, your picture and your headline. The headline is that short line, short but not that short because it's 220 characters, spaces included, which is very important. If you think in every touch point of LinkedIn, so in every place where you can be seen or you can contact someone, let's say the news feed, the request message, the comments, the message, everywhere, people just can see just your picture, name, and headline, the first 90 characters of your headline. So the headline is is crucial to be understood at the first glance. People has very short time and very short focus when on social media. So in that first glance, we need to create a very good first impression. So headline is crucial. Of course, picture. But then if we go inside the profile, there are a couple of things that are very relevant. I would mention the background picture. For example, talking to the feedback participant, of course, you have your project, you create the business plan. I've seen on the website many interesting projects. Your background image could reflect that project, could be a showcase, a brief showcase of the project with the name of the project and the core value of the project, for example. Okay. Another easy part to leverage is the featured media.
The content creation.
Yeah, so before the background and the experience area, so where you say I work in this place from this month, this year, there is this featured media area where you can put a link. For example, if you are a content creator like Yazid, you can put a link of your Instagram, Vimeo, or where is your Behance. I've seen your Behance probably, no? Where you have your portfolio, or you can, if you have a landing page, for example, to collect leads and collect contact of people that could be interested in your project, thinking as an entrepreneur, you can put there the link. So in that area, 2 or 3 main content that became your CTAs. I told before to think to your LinkedIn profile as a landing page. So there is the perfect area to put your CTAs. So 1, 2, maximum 3 CTAs in that area. It works very well.
Actually, yes, like for me, I do have my Behance and Instagram and all this Vimeo and these platforms that I showcase my portfolio at. You are right. And from your perspective, what's the best way to build a meaningful connection and expand your connection and expand your network, sorry, on LinkedIn? How can entrepreneurs use LinkedIn, not just for networking, but also maybe like generate business opportunities and do meaningful connections?
Yeah. At the first approach, many people think to use LinkedIn just as a search engine to create a network, which is not bad, but it's very basic. Let's say level 0, 0.5. So, I mean, you have an account, you log in, you go in the search engine. There is some trick. For example, I suggest you to try with a Boolean operator and not. I don't know if you are familiar with that. If you want later, you can ask me a question about that. So you can just list people and try to connect with those people. For example, you have a project that connect farmers with market. Okay, so you can look for connection in both in the agriculture and the distribution, for example.
Mm.
So just show up with a connection request, very basic. But in that way, you are doing what technically we call the cold outreach. You're just contacting cold contacts, showing up from nowhere, can work, but it's a bit basic, as I said. So the next level is to use post and comment to meet new people. I invite you to see the post on LinkedIn as a space to create conversation. Could be your own post, so you publish something and you try to create a conversation and then to engage with those people through private message. Or way easier, you join other people post commenting, and there you will meet people that you can move to the DM, to the private conversation. And that's way easier because probably at the beginning, when you start to publish a post, you will not have many people commenting, or maybe you will. I don't want to be negative, but sometimes at the beginning it takes a time to really create a big community. So you can join community by commenting, let's say, influencers. Among iFans, I mean B2B niche influencer in your field, commenting their post and meeting their people.
Yeah. The and about the success stories, I would love to like this. I always love the success story that everybody tells. Like, can you share maybe a success story that of an entrepreneur or business that used LinkedIn effectively?
I love success stories too. Are also quite difficult sometimes to tell from my experience because as a professional, I work mostly in the training part, training consulting, but sometimes I help people to sparkle the interest toward LinkedIn, but then they go by themselves. So I don't know the final results, which it's a bit frustrating sometimes. But I want to mention two or three cases that are people or companies I work with, which are in your field, let's say in the food or yes, agriculture as well, industry, that I think are quite interesting to listen. So one is about, let's start with this one. It's called, her name is Simona Riccio, so you can even look for her on LinkedIn. She's a LinkedIn top voice now. Her story is quite interesting because she was working in a bio company, and then I don't know what happened, but the company, I mean, she didn't have that anymore that job, let's say. So she started to work as a freelancer, but wanted to stay in this bio field, wanted to work in the bio, mostly in the communication side, okay, marketing communication. So she starts from zero, publishing on LinkedIn almost every day with a very good consistency. Consistency is a key. Not every day, can be one per week, but consistency is a key. So she started to publish on LinkedIn about this, about bio, food, food chain, agriculture, like going to visit the market and explain about the food and veggies, etc., which was on LinkedIn at the time quite new. Now we need to say there is a lot of conversation going on about food and agriculture on LinkedIn. At
Yeah.
the time, it wasn't. So she gained a lot of space, and LinkedIn recognized her as a LinkedIn top voice for agri-food industry. So now she's been invited abroad in fair to talk about the bio, like a LinkedIn influencer. And I think her story is inspiring because she started from zero, actually from a difficulties, not having anymore her job, and started publishing on LinkedIn.
That's quite something. Like it's always very hard to be consistent in like
Yeah,
publishing and doing it. It needs so much dedication, like for me.
it
And
does. It
there's a
does.
question from Joe. Would you make a LinkedIn profile for projects we carry out in a consortium, like food?
Yeah, well, to have a company page, LinkedIn calls it company, even though maybe it's NGOs or association, is always good as a reference. But what it works better is using the personal profile to associate the brand to the personal brand and create more visibility. It's also LinkedIn itself that give more space to personal brands compared with brands. For
How so?
example, yeah, sorry.
No, no, I was asking how so. I didn't.
For example,
Example.
very basic. If you try to scroll LinkedIn, I don't know if some of you maybe have LinkedIn open now, try to scroll the feed. If you notice, one out of four, five content are sponsored. So
Yeah.
that part on the side. The remaining one are three out of four, probably, or two out of four personal profile, and only a very little part is from companies, not sponsored. Let's say that out of 100 nowadays is probably 4 or 5% of company shown on a news feed comes from company pages. The story is very sad and very simple. LinkedIn just want to push companies to spend money on advertising, as Meta, Facebook did years ago.
Mm.
So it's way easier to reach your audience with a personal post. Plus, on LinkedIn, people trust more people than brands because people want to connect, create a connection, and you cannot connect with a brand. You can follow, but you cannot make a conversation with a brand, while you can and you enjoy more with people, with a professional.
Yeah, thank you. And here's Martinez asking as
Yeah.
well, what's the ideal frequency of posts for a freelancer? Meaning, how many posts should be published weekly or monthly?
I don't want to say what I'm saying. It depends, which is a good way to do not answer, but I give you a clue, Martina. Um, I like to say that less than one per week is not a plan. It's when something happens, I will post on LinkedIn. So I suggest if there is a goal to achieve, there is a strategy, you can build a strategy. You can even build a strategy on the go, like starting to publish something and then understanding what's happening and then building the strategy is okay. But I would start with one per week, which is already a quite slow but good pace, which means 4 or 5 posts per month. Could seem difficult, but when you understand the type of post you can publish on LinkedIn is not that difficult. We personally manage some profile of managing director or entrepreneur, also in the food industry. I will give you one more example. In that case, we publish a couple of posts per month. So it's a bit less than what I advised before. It could work. The point is that you don't take momentum from one post to the other with 2 weeks in the middle. It's very difficult to gain momentum and have your views and interaction really take over.
Yeah. I really do agree with what Alessandro did say, because I'm a freelancer as well, and that's the yeah. Sometimes one day I did a mistake where I did post like 3 or 4 posts in one day, تمام? And for the rest of the month I had no content to upload. Okay,
Yeah.
so I once did that mistake, and I have learned from it, like to just, like as he just said, like maybe post one per week, and just and lately Meta has been taking the algorithm of quantity over quality.
LinkedIn, no,
On
for
Meta,
now.
I
Thanks
said on
God.
Meta.
Exactly. No, I want to say that fortunately, LinkedIn, not yet, at least. One per day is okay. For example, me now, I'm publishing one per day, but that's my job, of course. But even for people completely dedicated to the platform like me, I wouldn't suggest more than one per day.
And
It's not X.
if someone is like just starting their LinkedIn journey, what 3 actions they like, or key actions they should take today to improve their presence in LinkedIn?
Yeah. I would be back to the 3 pillars that I mentioned before, talking about mistakes. So I mentioned profile, network, and content as the 3 main pillars. I would like to try to draw this image, so maybe you will remember when you will start to use LinkedIn more. Think to LinkedIn as a city where the buildings can be like a little tiny house or the skyscraper are profile and company pages. The identity with foundation, well maintained, etc. Streets and sidewalks and railways are the connection between people and company. Okay, so they create the infrastructure of connection, and people on the sidewalks and bicycles and train and cars, which create the traffic in the city, are content on LinkedIn. This is the comparison to have in mind. So in a good city, you need all these 3 elements working together. Of course, when there are not infrastructure enough, there is just traffic jam, not good circulation. If there are infrastructure, but there is no one, it's like a desert city, no one around, okay? So you need to create an harmony between these 3, making things simple. Create your own building. So the profile, optimize, as we said before, just focus on few little things, as we said, okay? Picture, background image, headline, featured media. Start to build your network with a rule. So decide who counts, who matter. So for example, decision maker in a specific area. So you look for them, maybe in the conversation under the post, and you connect and engage, which doesn't mean only publish a post, as we said, but commenting. And this part will complement previous answer. No, okay, we said one post per week would be very good. If you don't feel yet to publish a post, or you don't think to have something interesting once per week, I'm sure you have, but maybe you don't feel, you don't recognize, the best advice is comment other people post. To understand how crucial it is, now LinkedIn is releasing a new feature which allow you to count the impression of your own comment. So we are used to consider the impression of our post on Facebook as well, on Instagram as well. Like impression content always been one of the main KPI to look at as a content creator. Now LinkedIn introduced something new for the first time, probably not copying from another social media platform, which is the count of the impression of the comment that you leave under other people post. It's very interesting because help us to focus on what really matters. I don't want to focus too much on the vanity metrics. So the point is not to have thousands and thousands of view of our comments because that's a trick. You just comment the most viral post on LinkedIn today and you can get 10,000 views of your comment. That's not the point, of course. But the point is to focus on the fact that commenting the right post, you can have the right eyeballs looking at your name, your headline, and your face.
Mm, that's quite interesting, yeah. And I'm gonna leave some time now for questions. Uh, if any of the attendees that have any question, please drop it in the chat. Meanwhile, I do have a question about for me, what type of content should creatives like me, the videographer or photographers, like post on LinkedIn to attract clients and grow more professional work? I try sometimes to post like the content that I have done, but seemingly it doesn't do much in LinkedIn. So that's a question from me.
um, were there the content that you create maybe for other social media, you create for Instagram and you publish on LinkedIn as well?
Mm.
Was that the case? Were the
Yeah.
same content? Um, Majority of case, the content we create for other platform doesn't work on LinkedIn because the characteristics I've seen Orsolia being said for this affirmation. Sometimes just need to be fixed a little and not to completely remake them. No, because so first of all, we need to think who is our audience, so who we want to talk with. And sometimes on LinkedIn, we need to take from another perspective. I was having during lunch with my partner this conversation because I told him that I was going to have this seminar with you, and we were talking about what an NGO should communicate on LinkedIn, for example. And we were discussing which side is more relevant. Majority of time, an NGOs, for example, an NGO need to find the connection with the business community that can sparkle interest in the business community and use that as a backdoor to bring then the NGO, the association content in the right environment. But you need to find the connection between the business because on LinkedIn is mostly about the business. So the same is probably for a content creator, like a photographer. Okay, for example, talking about the struggle you have to gain your first client as a content creator, as a video maker, and so you can resonate in other freelancers that are struggling on the same path, on the same journey. Okay. And
Mhm.
then you showcase your product, of course, but you catch the interest telling a story that can resonate in the business environment with people like you or with your client. Mm. For example, this is just an example because we should see the content that you were
Yeah.
talking about.
Thank you for this. And here's another question for someone starting. Is it more important to keep posting regularly, or is it relevant to comment on relevant posts?
It's a question for me or someone want to answer after this half an hour together.
Maybe someone wants to answer this.
For me, I wouldn't put an or in the between. I mean, uh, it's okay. We all of us have a limited amount of time to dedicate on promotion, so maybe sometimes you need to choose in between. It depends in which part of the journey you are. For example, myself, I would like to comment more, but at the end, I dedicate more time to create new content. But it's because I already have a big community following me. I'm lucky enough that they give me their attention even when I don't give back enough attention with a comment, because now they are already loyal to my message.
Mm.
But if I would be at the beginning, I would focus more on the comment.
Okay. I focus on the comments, Joe. And
Well, it's a question. It's also about sometimes time. And you want to, if you make a post, you want to dedicate time and make a post that is relevant and it's well written and makes sense. And maybe it's easier to find time to comment something that you find to be relevant and interesting.
yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I'm very focused on the time issue. I'm writing a book about LinkedIn, and the title of the book is 21 minutes. So it's completely about time to dedicate on LinkedIn. And my proposal in this book is to find uh, slots 20 minutes long. 21 because I like the number, 7 times 3, I think it's fascinating, but 20 is okay. Focus time without multitasking, without distraction, dedicated to one specific task for LinkedIn. One day can be just writing a post. If are 20 focus minutes, you can craft a good post. Another time can be 20 minutes just to comment other post. Another time can be 20 minutes to add a few relevant connection with a meaningful private message attached, but one task per time in 20 focus minutes. That's my idea in this book. In
And
Italian, sorry.
it was very nice. Maybe before we wrap up, Alessandro,
Yeah.
what is a final, what is like to give us one final piece of advice you would give to young entrepreneurs looking for looking to make the most out of LinkedIn? Sorry.
So LinkedIn is a marathon, it's not a sprint. I'm
Mm.
also very dedicated to this topic because I'm going to run my very first marathon in a couple of weeks. So I know what it means. What I want to say is that don't be discouraged if at the first attempt it seems not working. For example, first time publishing a post, not seeing a good return. I'm not talking about vanity metrics, but maybe not have comment, not having someone direct messaging you after the post. It's okay, could happen. Try again. So think on at least medium or long term. Uh, just start. As I said before, sometimes the strategy become clear on the path. So maybe someone has already very clear your target audience. You're going on LinkedIn, for example. I want to find 3 investors in this field to really start with my business plan, my project in 6 months, okay? Or my project is already on the market. I want to give you some entrepreneurial idea. My project is on the market. I need to find the first customer um, to start running the business. My customer has this profile. I want to engage with them on LinkedIn. Great, amazing. You can make a strategy. For all the others, just start to move the ball. Okay, optimizing your profile, showcasing something, publishing posts, commenting, and then on the way, understanding how it works, like driving this car, you can define better your strategy step by step. But at the beginning, you can start to, I like to say that you cannot move a car, you cannot steer a car not moving. I don't know. I
Yeah.
can say it better in Italian than in English, this one. But if the car is not moving
Can say
forward,
it in
you
Italian.
cannot steer, okay?
What's the phrase in Italian?
In Italian?
Ah.
Non puoi sterzare una macchina ferma.
I'm sure that Joe will tell me that. And here's another question: how
What
to
to
get
post?
ideas about what to post on LinkedIn from Martina.
Yeah. I would say thinking about someone starting, for example, telling your journey in your entrepreneurial, actually, telling about your entrepreneurial journey is always good. So telling story about how the idea started, the first struggle you faced, the first success, and how you reach them after overcoming some problems, for example. So telling story about your journey is always a good idea. Another idea is about sharing knowledge. Uh, for sure, you're learning many things with feedback or other sources. You read a book and you find it insightful. So you take three takeaways from a book and you want to share, or a list of books that in the last years you read and you've been really helped with the insight. So this is another type of post that works quite well on LinkedIn. And you can start with, just to give a couple of examples. In general, real life. When you start to create content for LinkedIn, it happens that doing things you think, oh wow, this is a good idea for a LinkedIn post. Now happens something, maybe you have a call with your partner in your project, with your co-founder, or maybe with the other participant of the project, talking about something and say, wow, I should tell this story. This is interesting. Other people can relate with it. I suggest take a note, and when you have one of those 20 minutes block of time, you can elaborate into a post. Even without media, I want to share this just last thing. On LinkedIn, post with only text could work very well. You don't need to put a visual every single time because sometimes people are blocked by the visual. I have a good story to tell, but I don't have picture to add to this story because I cannot disclose. I don't really have a picture related with this topic. So someone just put a picture of himself, like on Instagram. It's now quite trendy on LinkedIn too, to just put a picture of yourself and telling a story. But a post without any visual could work.
Okay. And she referred as, would you suggest creating a blog in your freelance website and share the link on LinkedIn, or keep the main content on LinkedIn, or both works?
Having a blog, I think, is always a good idea because when we are on social media like LinkedIn, we are in the earned media platform that can change the rules tomorrow, can disappear. I don't think LinkedIn will disappear, but can change the rules, can even block us for good or wrong reasons sometimes. So it's always dangerous to have only the earned media audience. So having your own blog and mailing list, I would add, is always a good idea. It's quite difficult to make them work together because when you share an external link on LinkedIn, majority of time that post will not go far because the algorithm penalize you. There are little tricks like putting the link in the comment, for sure you know, or other little things. So yes, good idea, but together quite difficult.
And sorry, I'm gonna just
My pleasure.
I'm just gonna um, tell you that to stay tuned and for the exciting talks and valuable resources. Please maybe follow feedback, and I'm gonna thank you, Alessandro, for your time and insights. That was very important to hear. Like there's so much information in a lot of small time that we have that have entered
Great.
like I have a full page of just notes. Uh,
Okay.
we'll make sure of getting them ready, and maybe for everyone's that is listening now, maybe go update your LinkedIn profile and start building your profile, your professional journey right now, maybe today.
Yeah, exactly. 20 minutes. Start with 20 minutes.
Exactly.
Thank you, Jazid. Thank you, Joe,
Thank
for
you.
having me. Thank you, everyone. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn or my blog, my content creation is only in Italian, but nowadays it's not a problem with good automatic translation if you don't speak Italian yet. And feel free also to send me a message if you have other questions that maybe pop in your mind after this session.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.